So you've come here for the truth. Well, we've got the truth and nothing but the truth. Here are your hosts, Robert A. Bianchi and David J. Bruno.
Welcome to Nothing But The Truth. I'm your host, David Bruno. We're on WMTR 1250 on Saturdays at 10:30. I'm going to be solo with Natalie Goldberg today, who also goes by Natalie Gold. And Bob's a little ill, so he's home. And Bob, we hope you get well quick. We need you at the firm, and we need your tenacious advocacy here with our team of former prosecutors. But we have a great day in store with Natalie. Natalie is an award-winning attorney, a best-selling author, a nationwide speaker about women and money, and a fearless cheerleader for her clients' success. Founder of Goldberg LLP, which brings the power of estate planning to you, where Natalie focuses her legal practice on high net worth and ultra high net worth families. Natalie's team works closely with all families and even established a company, Life Legacy Legal, that provides top-notch planning for the masses. And in addition to that success in being a lawyer, Natalie also brings the mindset that we like here at the Bianchi Law Group and Nothing But the Truth. And I look forward to our conversation. So Natalie, thank you for joining Nothing But the Truth. We welcome you.
David, what a pleasure. Thank you for having me. And with that bio you just read, I better perform on here well.
And I know you will, because I follow you on the various different platforms, and you have such a tremendous message. You know, what I just said about the attorney and the estate planning, I had really no idea until today, because all I really see is the positivity and the mindset and the core values and all the greatness that I see in the messaging coming through. So I'm really interested to learn more about you. So can you first give us a little background on who you are, your upbringing, and what you're doing currently?
Thank you, my friend. And as they say, if you spot it, you got it. So thank you for that. My life started as kind of a regular kid, growing up in Queens, New York, from an Georgian immigrant family. I'm not talking about Atlanta. I'm talking about the country of Georgia. And my family really did not have a ton. We were working class, middle class, and my parents always instituted in me that I could be anything. They were here in America, and all I needed to do was have the right education. And in fact, so much so that I'd bring home a 98.6 from school, and my father would say, "Natalie, what is this?" That was the level of requirements and expectations put on me as a young kid. And everything kind of shifted at 15 years old, because on August 20th, 2004, my personal Pearl Harbor day, I was walking across the street as two guys decided to race their car from light to light. And one hit me as a pedestrian at 60 miles an hour, did not put his foot on the brake. So literally, thank God I survived. The surgeon had never seen something like this and said, "You're going to have to sit 10th grade out." It was 2 weeks before 10th grade was starting. And I said, "Hey, doc, I get it, and thank you. And I also go to Townsend Harris High School, where it's the most competitive, insanely smart kids. I'm not sitting out." And I was back at that first day of school in a wheelchair. And within a month and a half, he thought I was going to take a year to learn how to walk again. Within a month and a half, I'm dancing and choreographing on stage.
Wow.
Mindset is everything. Nobody knows who you are. Only you do. And sometimes we don't even know ourselves and the strength we have. And David, at that moment, I was like, okay, I'm bringing justice to the masses, because justice was not brought upon me. And, charges were dropped against that guy because supposedly the guy who came forward, who was his passenger in the car, reneged on his statement. My parents, immigrants, didn't know how to handle the legalness of it. So I say at 15, I became a lawyer, but I just needed a few more years to get all the educational requirements done to actually call myself a lawyer and be an advocate. And I thought that was going to be in the courtroom. And I thought I was going to be the Perry Mason type of lawyer that's going to go and argue in court. And then I realized in my area, right, which is civil, which is wealth, wills, trust, inheritance, if you've gotten to court, you've already lost. So how could I bring the message of living an amazing life and having a legacy you're proud of to the masses? And that was through social media, TV, books, TED Talk, all the things to make it not one-to-one, but one to millions, so that we can really impact tremendous change on this planet.
Wow, amazing. Your parents, let's start with them. When did they come over here? And were you born in Georgia or were you born in the U.S.?
First generation, born in New York. My mom came over when she was about 11 in the late 70s, when many of the Georgian Jewish population was being forced out of Georgia because of, what was happening in the Soviet Union at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then my dad grew up in Israel. And funny enough, Facebook of that time was showing pictures, right? And they had a mutual relative, and the one said, look at this beautiful woman, she's single. And 3 days later, they're married, very old school.
Wow.
And unfortunately, that relationship ended in divorce about 10 years ago. But, my parents did a fabulous job raising us, because now I just saw your kids before the show started airing, and my kids are 3 and 4.5. How difficult it is to be a parent.
Yeah.
It just, we're always questioning, we're doing the right thing, we're doing the wrong thing. How do we, and thank God we work so hard so we can give more. But do you want to only have your kids know the word present as opposed to earning it? And it's this tricky fine line, right? But I would say that they did a great job in instilling in me, number one, that you can do anything you put your mind to. And number two, that you got to go make it happen for yourself. It's not going to be handed to you.
Do it, right? You got to do it. You got to take action. Massive action.
That's it. It's vision paired with action, right? And most people are asleep. They're what I call the walking dead. And it's really sad. And to me, it's like, how do we wake people up into the magnificence that they are?
Yeah, and I want to talk more about that because, wow, what a message you have. And I know in my heart that it comes from your parents. And what a great job they've done raising you. But let's talk about that accident. At age 15, you're hit by a car. And what was the self-talk in your head when you were essentially victimized? You were a victim of a car accident at a very young age. Did you have that positivity? Did you have that mindset that you have today, back when you were 15 going through that adversity?
I think even more so. I had one moment of, woe is me. God, why did you do this to me? Why didn't you just take me? And then almost immediately thereafter, that thought never again came in. And in fact, it was replaced with, F yeah, I am literally the bionic woman. I survived that. Ain't nothing gonna hold me down. And literally at that moment, I decided, this is your second chance. And you better not waste it.
Unreal. So it's at that point, did you say you want to be a lawyer? Did you make that decision because of that accident and the trauma that you experienced?
Yes, I feel like I always wanted to be. So my grandfather in Israel was one of the first, if not the first, Georgian lawyers in Israel. My parents, did not go that route. They had to kind of make money right away in America, etc. But they always told me, you'd be a great lawyer. Why? Because I love to speak, read, write, and I'm pretty good at winning an argument. And that's what they thought being a lawyer is.
Right.
Which, maybe for you guys it is, because you do court work every day and you're winning. But for most lawyers, that's just not really the case. In fact, what I found so crazy in law school was it was the silent but deadly, like the 300-pound guy in the back who you never heard from. All of a sudden, he's the A+ in the class. And you're like, how does that equate? Because he could never get a client. But law school, as we know, does not teach the business of law or the business of negotiation, networking, showing yourself, and selling your case. So I always wanted to be a teacher or a lawyer, and I guess I'm both because I get to educate the masses on how to live a life that matters. And it's really through the education that I do what I do.
Yeah, what a tremendous story. Because you're right. I mean, first of all, what does law school teach you, right? The law school teaches you got to read a lot, you got to issue identify, and you got to be able to argue two sides. But even I went to the prosecutor's office out of law school, criminal defense prosecutor's office, and even in that role, they didn't prepare us for being a trial lawyer. Right? So you get through law school and now you become a lawyer in real estate and estate planning and things like that, but you're not in the courtroom. Is that what you wanted to do when you said you wanted to become? Did you want to be in the trenches, cross-examining and having those Perry Mason moments?
So I think I'm going to be a little bit arrogant right now. And I think it's a blessing for all other lawyers that I'm not in the courtroom because I kick their bums.
Confidence.
I mean, not you and Bob, of course, Dave. We'd be on the same side. But yeah, I mean, I just love it, right? But here's the thing. What I didn't like with law school and what I learned there is you can have a slam dunk case on the civil side. I don't know anything about the criminal side, right? On the civil side, you can have a slam dunk case, black and white. You are right. They are wrong. And yet it could take 7 years, $700,000. How much stress? Like, the system is what I have an issue with. I want to encourage people to stay out of the legal system. And that's what I do when I educate them to create your own trust, because you can abide by the law that some legislator made that, Judge Bob is going to put into effect, who doesn't know your family, or you can be in the driver's seat and literally create the law and the legacy you want to see without outside intervention. I think that's better.
No, absolutely. And I'm learning that more and more as well. I've been in the courtroom since I became a lawyer way back when. I started in the prosecutor's office in 2007. Bob and I left the prosecutor's office in 2013, and it really took COVID to really wake us up on the business side and in the marketing side. Bob had been doing this joyful journey and speaking about mindset before COVID, but really our messaging got expanded. We got the radio show, and we've always been on television. But what a tremendous story, Natalie. We got to go into a break. We're going to take a break, a little commercial break, and then on the back half, I want to get into, all right, what happened after? Because TED Talk, book, messaging, mindset. We'll be back after the break. More with Natalie Gold.
At the Bianchi Law Group, our team of former prosecutors and certified criminal trial attorneys specialize in criminal defense and domestic violence cases. When you need a law firm with courage, compassion, and the commitment to fight for you, call the Bianchi Law Group today.
Welcome back. Nothing But the Truth on WMTR 1250 every Saturday at 10:30. Also, too, we have the landing page. I talk about it every week, but literally, if you guys haven't seen it, go. All the videos that we've done. This video will be released on Wednesday. And we're talking to Natalie Gold. Natalie is a lawyer, and she's got other initiatives, including books, and she's had her first TED Talk in January of this year. And I will get to core values, okay? So first, before core values, what's the why? What's the purpose? What's the thing that makes you go every single day?
The power of the individual and how much through our collective consciousness, bringing it up, leveling it up, knowing that you can make the difference because your unique purpose was put into you by the universe for you to do. And the only thing separating you from achieving it is your desire to earn it and then going out and taking action to do it. If we can create a better world for women and children, I believe we change the world.
I like it, but how does somebody go and take action with that desire and purpose? You clearly have figured this out. as to what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and you're rocking and rolling. But not everybody is. Those are great words, and I love it. But how? How does one that's not there take action to go that direction?
You visualize this. You just won $1 billion lottery. Literally, it cannot be taken from you, that $1 billion. You've partied, you've had a great time. Here are the 2 questions you ask yourself. Number 1, what problem do I solve in the world? And how do I spend my days? Literally, visualize the day. The day you wake up, you're on the beach, you drink your iced coffee, you have some nice time with your spouse, you walk your kids to school. Maybe the school comes before the spouse time, whatever. Then you come back, you do this work, X, figure out the X. Then you go have lunch at this place, you're eating these vegetables and fruits, or maybe you're eating a steak lunch, whatever. What's it for you? Because guess what? Once you figure that out, most people have no idea. They're circling around. Once you get clear, what is it that I want? What would I spend my $1 billion influence on in this world? Now you have the destination. You open your phone, you put it in your Google Maps, and guess what? You know the way. But most people have no idea what they want, which is why they never do anything.
Yeah, you talk about the day. I mean, literally, it does boil down to a day, a week, a month, step by step. I'm a big follower of Ed Milet, the power of one more day, one more association, one more project. But and everybody's got the same amount of time as Elon Musk and Bill Gates and Natalie. A lot of it has to do with how we spend our time too, Natalie. So what advice do you have for people that are trying to plan out their time and time management to accomplish these goals?
Here's what I would say. Number 1, if you need to rest because you really have been running that hard, rest. And by the way, David, when I became a mom, I have never put my foot on the brake pedal as much as I have in this last 4.5 year period. Because I used to be able to go from 6 a.m. to midnight, doesn't matter, 17 coffees in, New York City, let's go meeting, let's make it happen. And then you change as a human being because now you're responsible for other human beings, and no one tells you that everyone is all about women's empowerment until you become a mother, and then there's no such thing. And you're dealing with judgments from everyone, no matter if you go back to work or you don't. And you're dealing with all of these things. And here's the thing. You just give it the best you can where you are today. And then you finally, my little one turned 3 end of December last year. I just feel like I'm getting back into myself, and that's okay. Like as Gary Vee says, the journey is long, right? It doesn't have to be that everything happens this week. It's okay if it happens over the next few years, because what are we in such a rush for?
Yeah.
We're rushing for what?
Yeah, absolutely, Natalie. Incrementally. Look, if we're going in the right direction, right? That's the key too.
Correct.
Going in the right direction. And self-talk. Let's talk about that. This is a big thing that I'm studying right now with all the influencers and the people I'm following about these positive thoughts, these because it's easy to get distracted in this world. Tell us about it.
It's a self-talk, and it's who you surround yourself with. For example, if I call my mom or sisters and tell them what I'm currently working on, they'll say, you've always done everything you've ever wanted to do. This is just another thing. Of course you're going to do it. And they're like the biggest support and cheerleaders for me ever. Meanwhile, there may be other people who I've allowed into my life because of things like your relationships, your marriage, etc., who may be small thinking and small-minded and tell you things that are cancer to you. And by the way, I'm speaking from experience. And it's the unraveling of that and the choosing yourself to say, nope, you're not allowed. I'm sorry that we can't have the relationship I wish we could have. But because you cannot control your energy and the words you speak around me, you do not get to be in my presence. But to have the confidence to say that to yourself and to know that you must, because in order for you to be a good parent, a good spouse, a good partner, a good business person. You must take care of yourself. Otherwise, what do you have left to give? You're running on fumes.
Very easy to get distracted nowadays, especially with technology and the social media platforms.
Negativity and no negativity. Like if someone is talking smack about you, they're less than you and they know it. Just get away from them.
I mean, look, I think that there's a lot of good that comes from social media platforms, like the messaging that you put out there. But there's a lot of negativity too, a lot of comparison, a lot of criticism. How do we eliminate the noise? How do we eliminate the distractions? What are some tools for that, Natalie?
So I think you have to really schedule it out, right? Your calendar dictates your success. And I would also say, Oprah once said, it's not how I could just be on TV and I could just have the show. How can I use TV to promote all that I am? And just replace TV today with social media. No one is watching TV anymore. Except, of course, when we are the featured guest, David. Come on, let's be real. But realistically, one LinkedIn post I do on a good day can have 100,000 impressions plus. There's typically not 100,000 of my perfect clients or perfect viewers watching a TV show that I might be speaking on. So really, social media, it can use you or you can use it.
Yeah.
And I suggest that you use it for your end and your goals. Now, here's the thing. You have to define what those are. If LinkedIn for me was just about making more money, it would be a fail because LinkedIn hasn't necessarily led one-to-one to more money. However, because people go on my LinkedIn where I have my greatest presence and they see me as that expert, they see what I have, that informs them. That gives the credibility right there. And then I'm like, you know what? You have to, just like you diversify your money, you got to diversify your following. Because one day LinkedIn could say, we don't want you anymore. And then you're done. So you really have to be where your people are, and you have to diversify your assets. I mean, social media attention is the asset.
Yeah, let's talk about that because, I mean, the LinkedIn profile has the messaging that gets out and you get engagement. I mean, what's the key to getting the engagement that you do on your LinkedIn profile?
Okay, so here's the secret. Number one, you got to comment on other people's stuff. Number two is you got to have people who are committed to you and you're committed to them, to helping them grow. Number three, like everything, you got to be consistent. You can't eat a hamburger today, work out for 3 hours tomorrow and say, oh, you know, what happened? No, every day is a commitment to it, whether you're feeling good, whether you're feeling not good. And remember, I mean, this has taken me, in 2020, pandemic hits, I have about, let's say, 13,000 followers. Nothing to sneeze at, but not great. Now, knock on wood, it's 250 people away from 70,000, which is a tremendous difference. But here's the thing, David, like, how are you, quote unquote, monetizing that? What are you using that platform for? I use it as a force for good. And honestly, I haven't even tapped into the beginnings of the monetization I could be doing because it feels different. And what I learned as a young networker back in 2014 when I started my business was you want to be a farmer, not a hunter. The hunter has desperation on their breath and you can smell it a mile away. I need to make money right now. I need to make money right now. I need to make money right now. As opposed to, hey, David, who do you need to meet? How can I help you? And that's what I've done for the last 3-4 years on LinkedIn. How can I help you? How can I inspire you? How can I motivate you? Now, have clients come from it? Absolutely. And I haven't even begun to tap into what I've built on LinkedIn. And I think that's, you know, you got to give before you can get. Just think of a bank account. You can't take out money. You can't withdraw until you deposit in.
You have to give before you can get. I mean, what a great quote. Unfortunately, we're running out of time, but tell people where you could first of all, tell people about your books and where they can find them and generally what they're about.
My books are on Amazon. The Millennial's Guide to the Universe and Money Mama are great about basics around money. And my last 2 books are children's books that are beautiful inspiration for young parents to really understand that they're seen, they're heard, and they're loved.
January of this year, you had your TED Talk. What a tremendous opportunity, voice, message. What was the topic? And give us some points from the TED Talk.
How to have the money talk to increase your bliss. All of us want to make more money. Why? Because we think it'll bring us more joy. You mix money plus love, you get bliss. Bliss is your business, legal, investments and insurance, strategy, succession, and stewardship. It's all about obtaining those pillars of your house so that you can have a successful financial life. Why? Because money is the energy that makes our world turn. And without it, it's very hard to live a good life. Once we have enough of it, we can start doing more, being more, and giving more. So I encourage all of us to make as much money as possible so that we can make as much impact as possible on planet Earth.
What's bliss? What ultimately, where are we all trying to get to? What is that bliss? And describe it.
Bliss is different for everyone, but it comes down to that day. What is that perfect day? What is that perfect week? What is that perfect month for you? And it's that conversation we must all have, because we can always chase the horizon, but it's always going to be ahead of us. So I think it's important to keep the horizon in check, as well as, damn, I've done well. I've gotten to this point, and I should be so grateful and so proud of what I've accomplished. And there's more to come. Absolutely.
Where can people find you?
I'm on LinkedIn, Natalie Elisha Goldberg. I am all over online. Google me and get in touch. But anything I can do really to help people lift and uplift themselves so that they can make an impact in this world and create something better, I'm happy to.
You have to give before you get. And Natalie, thank you for giving today on Nothing But the Truth. It was an absolute pleasure. You exceeded our expectations. Thank you.
The pleasure was mine, David. Thank you so much for having me.
Always a pleasure. Saturday mornings at 10:30 on WMTR 1250. The landing page, nothingbuttethetruthpodcast.com, where we have subscription for the podcast. We have all the videos from all the guests. And we extended our contract with WMTR. So a couple weeks ago, we extended this contract for the Saturday mornings for another year. Thanks to the success of the show and all of our audience and followers, we appreciate you, and we appreciate Natalie for coming on today. Thanks again, Natalie. Have a great day.
Thank you so much. It was great. It was so much fun.
We're the Bianchi Law Group, a team of former prosecutors and certified criminal trial attorneys.
But here's the thing. He put himself in a box when he said...
Relied on by CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, Law and Crime, and news leaders across the country for our criminal defense expertise.
In a search warrant, you have to have probable cause that a crime's been committed and there's evidence in a particular place.
When you need a law firm with courage, compassion, and the commitment to fight for you, call the Bianchi Law Group today.